Good morning, everyone. This is Cynthia with Including You Journals. And I am so happy that you have joined me today. Today, I am looking at a wonderful piece of thick brown envelope that I received in the mail. So this is a great piece of junk journaling fodder to be able to use. And I want to work on extending a page in my journal. Well, there are great ways, lots of ways to extend your journal pages and to add pages in. So I just wanted to give you a few ideas before I began actually decorating this page to add into my journal. I liked here. Now, one thing I could do is I could use this flap of the envelope, glue that over the page this way. I could glue it here and here, and it's a pocket. That's an idea. I could also add it in another way. I could use it as an envelope, or I could just simply use it to extend my page and have lots, and I really like that. I really like that I have even more, but it's kind of thick, so I may cut this page off and shorten this one, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But while I have my journal here and this piece of paper, I want to show you a couple of other ways that I really like adding anything into my journal, especially if it's going to flip. And that is by just using a little fabric ribbon. Now, if you're not new to journaling, I'm sure you know this, but if you're somebody that's just coming on to journaling, this is something I think that would, that maybe help you. And we use little pieces of fabric that we tear into ribbons of fabric and glue onto both this. Here I would glue, and then I would glue the other part right onto that page, and then it would flip in and out. This material will just simply save your journal from tearing. And if you're working in a journal and maybe you have a piece that has been added and it is it's added by paper and it's starting to tear in your journal, you can use a piece of washi tape, does really well to help put it back in, but also a piece of material goes a long way of helping you salvage something that you want to keep in a journal. Or even if you get a journal home and you have found a piece of, let's say, a journaling card, and you don't want to use it in the pocket, you want to actually use it as a flip, you can make your own way of flipping items into your journal. So that's just the tip that I kind of wanted to give you before we did that. Let me show you a couple of different types of material. I think it's worth noting. This is not quite canvas, but it's just about there. And it might be called a thin canvas. I'm sorry, I'm not a seamstress. I don't know a whole lot about material, but this is a cotton material. It is ticking, like a ticking, and so there is a thickness to it, and I use that. But what I want to tell you about this, I often use this, is this will add a little bit of bulk into your journal page. So if you don't want to add bulk, this was something I found in a stash of, what is this? Let's see, and this one tears really easily, and it's great. And if you'll tear it rather than cut it, you'll get a straight edge. That's awesome. And you can even pull this apart so that you see here I'm getting some raveling both on the left and on the right hand side. And this is not as thick as that piece of close to canvas, so it doesn't add as much bulk to your journal. But my favorite piece to add, and I love all these strings, but I pull most of those off. And what I really love is something close to, if you can think of an old pillowcase. Wow, that to me is just super. So this is a little piece. I know this is cotton. I don't know if it's a cotton muslin blend. I do know it's a little piece of cotton, and it's so much thinner. And here is that piece. And again, when you're folding that over to glue onto the page that you're adding and the page in the journal to make that flip, it doesn't add so much bulk. It lays down very nicely. And I simply do this, add this by, let's see if I can find a place where I have begun cutting. Now, if you are a sewer, you're going to know this. Please bear with me or skip ahead. So I simply come to one edge, make sure I got that in. I cut there where I want it to end, and a little, this is a little too much. I would always, you see how much thinner this is. This is, well, that's almost an inch wide. You don't need to go over an inch, you just don't need that much space. This piece here is a half of an inch, and that's plenty wide for what we're doing and adding something into a journal. So I think I went over a little bit, but I was trying to make sure while I was on camera I was actually going to be able to get a hold of it, hold it, and then tear it. And then you just tear it like so, and that gives you your piece of material. Don't worry about the rolling. When you glue that onto your paper, that will be fine. And I just simply pull off these little edges. I like having that torn, ragged look. That is something I enjoy. So hopefully this will give you an idea if you want to have some flip items in your journal, how you can easily add them. Again, there's nothing wrong with using washi tape, and there's nothing wrong with using this simple edge of paper to be able to do that as well. So I saw in my journal when I pulled it over a moment ago, this is going to be a little bit wider than what I want. So I'm going to cut that off simply because I do want to use it, but I'm not going to flip it twice. It's just going to flip out one time because of the way I'm cutting it. Or could we, let's try this because I don't need that much. Okay, let's see what we've done here. Again, I'm just looking, eyeballing it, seeing what it looks like it might be. Now what I'm going to do this time is still cut a little bit more. I want to trim the white off of that, even though I can. Let's just go ahead and cut that part down as well. Again, eyeballing to see how much I want to cut off. And then what I'm going to do is, excuse me for just a moment, and I will flip this back over as though it were the original edge. Now I still have this nice strong brown. I like that brown color anyway. That's great in a journal, but it's going to fit into my journal so much easier. So I will use this, I believe, as a pocket on this side. The only thing is I see it's just a little bit too long, tall, top and bottom. And then this side will come over and I will have a flip and a flip. I really like that. I'm not sure if you like all that, but look at all this writing space that we're going to afford this journaler who will be using that. Okay, so let me just, one more second, trim this back down. I'm sorry for bringing this back in one more time. I just want to make sure it fits on that page nicely. And it was just a smidgen over. Do you use that word smidgen? It was just a little over. All right, and I will just double check before I start. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, great. I'll hold on to that so I can bring him back and put him in just a second. Let's go ahead and start decorating him. One of the things I love to use is Music Page, and I also like to use the old dictionary page as well. But I don't want to completely cover this brown. I do want to cover up the wording. I don't want to show that anymore, but I don't want to completely cover up the brown simply because I think that will be a great, I just like the color, so I want to use that. And I think we will do just that. Okay. And I have a new bottle of Ready to Go. It's not a new bottle, but it is a, oh yeah, new washed bottle and a little bit of art glitter glue since it's not in its correct bottle, meaning it's not in an art glitter glue bottle itself. Okay, so that way you'll know what I'm using. And, you know, just as soon as that touches down, that's going to stick. And I like to use it for that, especially when I am on camera. But there we go. And I don't have a burnisher handy with me today, so I'm just using the end of mine. And of course, because the paper was a little wet there with some glue, and because this is such fragile paper, this is from the 1900s, early 1900s. My scissors tore into that just a little bit, but it will be fine. Okay, good. And I'll just simply leave it open so that I can come around on this side with maybe some music page. Great. This paper is old too. I think this is from maybe the 1940s, could be the 1950s. So there's lovely patina on it, but it is not as fragile as that early 1900s book that I just used there. Yes, that works great. Okay. I'm going to come back with a little bit of this purple paper. This is just something that I purchased at Hobby Lobby, I believe, a while back. Let's see if I covered up any of that. And I do. I want a torn edge on this side as well. Good. I hope you're having a wonderful summer. It has turned out to be a very busy summer for me thus far. I have been working in sales and marketing and enjoying what I'm doing, but it's been a busy season, and that's wonderful. It's way wonderful for the owners of my company. Here is a little bit of diary page from a 1939 little diary, little memorandum book. I love using anything like this. There are a couple of vendors in my local mall, antique mall, that carry some paper, old paper ephemera, and I love that. I love going in there and just looking around because I don't have trouble finding something usually, so that's wonderful. And come back down here and add a little at the bottom. I'm also going to cover up that red wording at the top. Do not, I think it said do not bend. Now all of that still shows through, and I have still a nice background to put a flower or butterfly, something of that nature on it. And I think I'm going to use my dictionary page, or encyclopedia page. To cover that up, and I don't want to cover up all the dating there. And I believe that's perfect. Maybe it's closer to perfect that way. There we go. So now all I've done is just collage a little background that will hold what else we put on here to decorate. I will also look at this back side just a minute too before I completely put away everything and start looking at flowers and birds or butterflies, whatever I've set out to decorate with today. Yeah, I'm going to cover this. Not a lot, but I do want to put something on this page. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is just trim up to the text. And you can see how brittle that is. It tears so readily. Just start right there. That's all I'm going to use on that. Okay, awesome. All right, let's start decorating. And you know, I kind of like this old paper, that edge right there. Let's put that down here too. Okay, glue this side. Don't you like using art glitter glue? It just sticks so quickly. It doesn't warp my paper. And it dries really fast. And if you like that glue, if you keep a little paper handy or use your own fingers, however you craft, it really gets rid of any of that little glazing that sometimes that glue looks like it leaves behind. Let's see here. Okay. And now that I've folded this, I see where there's a little bit sticking out here. I think you can see that. I don't have anything really dark to show it. Let's see if I can pull this over. All I'm going to do is trim that off right there. So give me 1 second while I pull it toward me and can see what I'm doing. I don't want to cut this paper after we've spent that time working on it. And I'm sorry for being off camera. Okay, so I only had to cut off a little smidgen there, and that took care of it, and that's in the band too. That will actually work well because there was a sticker that I was covering up, but that'll give that bend in that paper a little more strength and maybe some longevity as well with that. Excuse me. Now let's look at, I thought I set some flowers out. Did I cover them up? I did cover them up. Cover up my butterflies as well. Let's see if we can find something that I want to use. I'm going to start with this page here. And I use purple, so I made purple, pull purple in. I don't want to cover up all that background. Okay, that may be what I used there. One of these can go on the other side. Yeah, I don't want to cover all that background. I really like that. So I think I'm just going to set him here. Let's see where we're going to cut. I see Rachel at Roxy Creation do this all the time. I wish I could remember to do it more. She just folds over her edge up, down, or sideways, and then she knows where to cut it or not to glue, and that's so easy. So. Getting as close to that edge as I feel like I can with my glue. I don't want it seeping out all over, but I do want to make sure that those edges are down onto the paper. Moving it just a slightly off center. Yes. And did this little guy came up somewhere there. Let's put him back. The weather got really hot here the 1st of June. I mean, upper 80s. It was crazy feeling. Felt like July had come. Excuse me. I always keep these little butterflies on hand. I love using butterflies. I have some beige ones and some pink ones as well. They almost meld into the background of your paper, but they're just so soft and gentle. I really like using them, so I try to keep those cut and ready to go for whatever project I'm working on. And you can see there, that's still in place. Set a television down on that finger. I heard the other day someone tell me it took them 6 months to have that grow out. So, oh no, I might need to start adding some polish. Okay, I'm still seeing there's a little bit of this that I missed, and I want to get right up to there without cutting it. And I didn't, so great. All right, there's that side. I love that. Hope you like that. I like that brown showing through. Again, it shows me that it's junk journal material. Okay, let's try maybe this purple now. And to me, that fits perfectly on the page. And you do need to work a little quickly when you're using the art glitter glue. It does dry very quickly. It's one of the great things about using it. Well, I think I put my paper halfway down and moved it around. Get rid of that glue. Good, good, good. I do not like seeing glue. I really think you need to get it off if you want your work to look nice. Yes, we are making junk journals, but I think we want to also create something without using that, keeping that glaze there, and that we can get that off. Okay, then here is a pink butterfly, very similar to the last one. I just like these soft colors. Yes, I do pull out the others from time to time, but I keep these handy and use them probably more frequently. And dragonflies. I love using dragonflies, and I've used my stash up, so I need to print some more. I get these. I think the butterflies are, both of these are off of Graphics Fairy. Man, don't you love going to the Graphics Fairy site? She keeps things available for us to use. I think that's pretty. I like that. Okay, do I want a butterfly here? Looks like he's on the ground. I don't want two butterflies side by side. Okay, so let me pull this out of range here. Let's see if we can find. This may be too big to go on that edge. It is. Okay. Too dark. Okay. A little field notes label. And I don't think I have anything in purple. The black. I started saying it was going to be too dark, but I believe I like the black the best. I think this is French for joy. I can't promise, but I think it is. Okay, and then I have all this writing stuff. Now what I will do later is I'll go in and use some distress inks, and I will either do a little stenciling or some splatter or something to make this not be so stark white, so that it will fit into my journal a little bit better. But for right now, I'm ready to put that in my journal. Let's pull it over and see what that looks like. And I think I decided to use it this way. Okay. And I'm only going to connect it at the top and the bottom of this page. I don't know if that'll be too much or not, but maybe it'll give it a little stability. Did you see what I did? A little bit of glue just down to that point and just down to this point here. I still have plenty of room to slip something in if I want to. Maybe that'll make it hold just a little more sturdily. And I will probably also come in here with my circle punch and punch out a little notch. But now you can see that we do have a pocket on that side. I love that. It's so simple. Now let's turn it over and see what we have here. And yes, we do an extension. We have an extension to a journal page. Let's see if I can get it all the way out. And here, and here. We've added plenty of writing space. I love things in a journal that flip. I love to look at the fun stuff that's in the journal, but I also want to leave lots of writing space for someone. I know if I'm going to get a journal, one that is just filled with ephemera, I'm going to probably put that on my shelf and not use it. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're pretty to look at. They're beautiful, and sometimes I make them full like that. But if I want to write, if I want a journal, I also want plenty of space to actually write inside of that journal. And that's what we have created there by creating and adding this double flip. All right, thank you for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day. I appreciate it. See you next time. Bye.